Hello and welcome to our little tutorial on data input tables. A little earlier in another tutorial we talked about an item called a scenario manager, and the scenario manager allowed us to flip in alternative sets of values into a table to see how things would be impacted. Now, data tables kind of follow a similar idea, except they allow us to test a whole variety of variables very quickly. And unlike the scenario manager, we're not hiding the variables anywhere. They're going to be in plain view, but data tables allow us to substitute values and then have the data table report back the results very quickly, almost instantaneously. So let's take a look-see here and take a look at our little table called Never Wrong Consultants. And in this instance, this table is just simply calculating income, expenses, and profit like many other tables we've looked at. You'll notice that if I click on total income, that's a calculated field. Total costs is a calculated field, so is total expenses, and so is profit. Now, one other thing, just kind of a side note, just to note in this table, the per client costs is also a calculated field, and this incorporates some variability. So each client, in fact, has a client cost of $100, and you'll see up here that the formula behind this cell reflects that. So this formula is made so that anytime there's an increase or decrease in the number of clients, the per client cost fluctuates to match that or reflect that. So if I wanted to come in here and say, okay, well, I'm going to change the number of clients to 20, I could just manually do that. And then the moment I tap my enter key, I see the impact. But let's say, for instance, I wanted to see a whole variety of different numbers of clients and see how those client numbers impact things such as my income, expenses, and total profit. That's where a data table comes in really, really handy. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building the data table over here. And I'm going to say, we'll say hypothetical clients. And I'm actually going to start this one cell down, and there's going to be a method to my madness. Again, I'm just going to come in here and adjust this. And what I'll do is I'll say, you know what? I want to know what happens if I have 5 clients, then 10. And from there, I'll use that. I'll highlight the 2 cells, grab the fill handle, and I'll repeat the pattern until I get to, let's say, 70 clients. Now, what I need to do is that this data table that will eventually appear here has to be connected to this table over here in order to figure out how to do its calculations. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to put these headings in. I'm going to go total income because that's what I want to find. I also want to figure out the total expenses based on client numbers. And I also want to, of course, see my total profit. Now, to link the data table to my Never Wrong Consultant table, I'm going to put it an equal sign, and I'm going to click where the actual total income amount is. And you'll see that it puts in the address, and if I tap the enter key, it shows me the amount. I'm going to do the same thing with total expenses. Equal sign, click on total expenses, puts in that address, tap my enter key, I'll click where it says total profit, equal sign, and click on the profit. Tap my enter key. Now, once I've done this, this is where I can put my data table to work. What I do is I go and I highlight the data I presently have and the empty space where the anticipated data will appear. I go to my Data tab. I click What If Analysis, and then I go along and I click on Data Table. Now this is where things can get to be a little bit confusing. What the data table needs to know is where is the variable information coming from? Is it coming out of a column or is it coming out of a row? And then on top of that, we have to tell it what cell in the Never Wrong Consultants table we want these variables to test. So in this case, since the variables are coming out of a column, it's going to be a column input cell. But I need to tell it what cell in this table the column values will substitute. So in this instance, since it's the number of clients, I have to click on the number of clients in the Never Wrong Consultants table. So it's going to take these pieces of data in this column and one by one substitute them into the client cell, the number of client cell, and then report back the total income, expenses, and profit based upon that hypothetical client number. If I go and I click OK, I see that it gives me all of that data. And what is nice is I can cross-check this information because I see right here if I have 10 clients, it gives me 32,500 in total income, which is right here. $24,700 in total expenses right here, and my profit ends up being $7,800, which is right in here. And it also reflects that if I only have 5 clients, I'm losing money. But once I get to 10, I'm making money. And I could have made the increments smaller, of course. I could have went 5, 6, 7, and that would have given me a much better idea of exactly at which point, which number of clients I start to break even. But I will also see that if I can round up 70 clients, suddenly the profit is quite nice. Now, this is an example of a one-column input table. There's I should say a one input table. In our next tutorial, we'll take a look at a 2 input data table, and you'll see the pretty amazing stuff that can do.